did this to peddle more lies to the American people and perpetuate the fake narrative that January 6th was an insurrection.
Driving out anyone who dares to think for himself or herself. But don't take my word for it. Just read Friday's statement by the twice impeached inciter of insurrection, sexual abuser, defamer of women, and indicted pilferer of national security secrets, war plans, and top secret classified documents himself.
I mean, I hear that is his full legal name.
The Luna resolution is a weapon of mass distraction from Trump's indictment by a Florida grand jury on 37 federal charges relating to obstruction and unlawful retention of defense information for storing dozens of classified, secret, and top secret documents at his Florida resort.
Jeez, Democrats are fired up today.
Simple point is getting lost. Republicans will do anything, say anything, and spend any amount of money to hide the basic truth that their leader is a criminal, corrupt, narcissistic buffoon.
Fresh from absolutely obliterating GOP talking points during the Durham hearing today, they marched to the House floor without breaking any sweat and just used their time to expose yet another exhausting waste of taxpayer dollars.
If Adam Schiff has a shred of human decency left, he would resign from Congress in disgrace.
Gentleman's recognized.
One of my colleagues says, "We will hold members accountable." You are the party of George Santos. Who are you holding accountable? The guy is an alleged and acknowledged liar and indicted, and you protect him every day. Don't lecture us with your projection and your defense of Donald Trump. It's pathetic, and it's beneath you, and it's beneath this body, and I yield back.
I thank the gentleman for yielding and for his great presentation today. Today, we are on the floor of the House where the other side has turned this chamber, where slavery was abolished, where Medicare and Social Security and everything were instituted, they've turned it into a puppet show. A puppet show, and you know what? The puppeteer, Donald Trump, is shining a light on the strings. You look miserable. You look miserable. The only advantage to all of this is that instead of reversing what we did on the IRA to save the planet, or reversing what we did to reduce the cost of prescription drugs, you're wasting time. Adam Schiff is one of the greatest members of that.
The gentleman's time is...
There's been an attempt to censure Adam Schiff, which, after his exchange with Durham today, Republicans will be praying happens because, well, this was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you read what's in the cable and what's in the report, is that what the diplomats reported was there was a suggestion of a suggestion that the Russians could help. They had damaging information as to Mrs. Clinton. And
by releasing it anonymously, right? And that's exactly what happened, isn't it?
I don't.
You really don't know?
I'm not sure exactly. When you say exactly what happened.
Well, the Russians released stolen emails through cutouts, did they not?
There were emails.
It's a very simple question. Did they release information, stolen information through cutouts, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm not sure that...
You really don't know the answer to that? The answer is yes, they did. Through DC League's...
Well, in your mind, it's yes.
Well, Mueller's answer was yes. More important than mine, Mueller's answer was yes. Now, that information, of course, was helpful to the Trump campaign, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, but that the Russians intruded into...
well, I just want to
hacked into the systems, they released information.
And that was helpful to the Trump campaign, right?
And the conclusion in the ICA and in the Mueller investigation was that the Russians intended to assist.
Can you answer my question, Mr. Durham? That was helpful to the Trump campaign, right?
Yeah, that's...
And Trump made use of that, as I said, didn't he, by touting those stolen documents on the campaign trail over 100 times?
I said, I don't really read the newspapers or listen to the news. I don't
really,
find that reliable, so I don't know that.
Mr. Durham, you're totally oblivious to Donald Trump's use of the stolen emails on the campaign trail more than 100 times? Did that escape your attention?
I am not aware of that.
As expected, Jamie Raskin wasn't going to waste a second of his time to call to attention what this hearing is really about. Bottling up to the twice indicted, twice impeached, twice... Sorry, how does it go again?
Driving out anyone who dares to think for himself or herself. But don't take my word for it. Just read Friday's statement by the twice-impeached inciter of insurrection, sexual abuser, defamer of women, and indicted pilferer of national security secrets, war plans, and top-secret classified documents himself. On Friday, Trump posted this order to his followers and this unveiled threat to anyone who would dare to defy his control over the GOP. Quote, any Republican voting against Adam Schiff's censure or worse should immediately be primaried, he wrote. The Luna resolution is a weapon of mass distraction from Trump's indictment by a Florida grand jury on 37 federal charges relating to obstruction and unlawful retention of defense information for storing dozens of classified, secret, and top secret documents at his Florida resort, in his bathroom, his bedroom, and beyond, and then refusing repeatedly for more than a year to return any of these official documents to the archives and the FBI. It's amazing to me that they have to change the subject from one of Donald Trump's current offenses against America to one of his older offenses, welcoming Russian interference in the 2016 presidential campaign.
This is all they have. Fake outrage, culture wars, gas stoves. Gun violence plagues the nation. It's the leading cause of death amongst children, but Republicans would rather spend time discussing the war on gas stoves, public urination in DC, and now censoring a member across the aisle.
Speaker, Republicans care more about personal vendettas and sucking up to Trump than about doing what's right for the country. Adam Schiff has been an incredible member of Congress. He exposed Trump's lies and corruption, impeached him, and got a bipartisan conviction vote in the Senate. He's passed real and consequential laws that solve real problems and help real people. And what's the sponsor of this censure done? What's Congressman Luna's record? I want her constituents to know, in her congressional career, 5 out of the 6 legislative items she's ever introduced are about Adam Schiff. I mean, doesn't she have anything better to do? Like, I don't know, help her district? This is what's known as lunacy. And it's all about deflection, retaliation, and distraction from Trump's 37 felony charges. The people who came up with the big lie want to censure Adam Schiff for telling the obvious truth, all so they can defend a 3-time loser ex-president who's been indicted more times than he's been elected. What an embarrassing day for this institution. What an insult to the American people. I urge a no vote, and I stand proudly with Congressman Schiff.
I want to thank the chairman of the Rules Committee for those astute remarks, and I will note that dozens of members of our caucus have come to stand with Mr. Schiff today, while the sponsor of this resolution, Ms. Luna, appears to be completely isolated over on her side of the aisle. I'll reserve.
And it would be one thing if these hearings were going their way. They're getting absolutely battered like a fish in Scotland. Left, and centre.
This country, we haven't had half as many hearings about guns as we've had on voting rights. And every time we seemingly have a hearing on voting rights, we're talking about the fact that people are cheating. So let's talk about who's cheating. I got a few articles. Are you familiar with the fact that there was recently a settlement with this little news company called Fox News?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That was for about $780-something million. Was it because they were lying about the elections?
Yes, it was for a...
okay, there we go. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to keep going.
The Grand Appliance Party is going to make sure your gas stove goes nowhere. You might own a small business, and you are worried about how you're going to pay your employees if we default. The good news for you today is that if you have to shutter your business because the country defaults, your gas stove will still be there. And so, I look forward to the legislation of our time, the Appliance Bill of Rights that might come in front of this committee and joining in this fight together.
Quite frankly, a terrible game plan, but one they feel forced to play because anything beats turning on their precious cult leader.
California has a lot of things messed up, and California is not the model that the United States needs. As a matter of fact, their government policies are atrocious. So if California decides to send Adam Schiff to Senate, they will be sending a proven liar.
Well, all I have to say is good luck. Keep it up, and we'll see you in 2024.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.